On today's starting nine, Jake and Carl come out of a great Labor Day to recap some amazing appearances from recent guests. There's number 695 from Albert Pujols, some drama in the NL East, some not so much drama in the AL Central, and tons of stories to get into. We're coming out of a great federal holiday. Let's have a great show in response. It's a great day to have a starting nine. Action! Welcome back to Starting Nine. I said the word great about 16 times during the intro, but I feel
a lot of greats.
I feel it.
Oh, you're right. There's a lot of good things. I mean, there indeed was some drama, a little bit of drama in the Central, but not for the reasons that most people might think. The near no hitter. God, we were all watching it as a family, and once he got through the eighth, you're like, he's gonna get this done. He's gonna get this done. And no worse way to have it in than with two outs in the ninth. I think, wasn't there another one this year that ended in the ninth?
Yeah, I can't remember who had it, but I feel like this is becoming a redundant thing. What's the furthest you went with one and then lost it?
Eight and a third. I don't think I lost one with two outs in the ninth, but I think that I had one or two with an out in the ninth. So it's right there. Or maybe into the eighth and gave up a hit. Into the ninth and gave up a hit to lead off the inning. I know that I had one or two that were 7 2/3.
Are you mad? He's got to be. There's part of him that's mad. And after we've talked
to
him, he's not the type of guy that's like, he's not beating himself up about this stuff, but he is. He is a little bit. We texted back and forth. Like I told him like, hey, we were all watching it. I think we're just finishing up dinner, and we're all sitting there in the kitchen, me, Brittany, and the kids, and just obviously pulling for him. And I text him after the fact and just, basically said, hey, you're going to be in that situation again. Like, there's no doubt about it. Not that helps because, he was devastated. And rightfully so. Like, you're one out away, and you know how close you were. And I don't know, but the guy that let off the game could have had a broken bat single, and then it's over before anything even starts. But it doesn't make it any easier. So he's probably had a couple sleepless nights. That's going to stick with him for a while. It is, because when you're one pitch away, it's a rough go. It's a rough go. Now, the Dylan Cease AL Cy Young story starts to pick up more steam. This is something we've talked about a little bit, especially in the wake of the McClanahan and Verlander injuries. So if you were sharp enough to jump on that 5-1, I think it was at the start of the year or start of the month. But and the White Sox, it's in a note on the end of this thing, but we might as well just do it now. We're talking about the Cease no-hitter. Guest on the show, comes on the show, does very well. Now the White Sox are they've won 5 in a row. I think they only picked up half a game in the standings.
Yeah, are they down? They're 5 games back, or
it was two. It's 2.5. It was like 6 last week. It was like 5-6 last week. Things were kind of really, really in the shitter. But it sounds like some momentum there. Guardians just got swept by the Mariners. The Mariners are smoking hot. Their their playoff percentage odds were like 5% in May. Now it's like 99% for the Mariners. We've been talking about how cool it would be. Like if you're a Mariners fan, you're in just a great spot with what they're doing. So
it's huge. Yeah, it's absolutely huge. Was it last night? They had, so it was like a 4-hour rain delay or something like that, and they ended up needing like their entire bench, their entire bullpen, but they got the job done. So they've got a lot of momentum, and they're going to need that going into the postseason. Obviously, as most teams want to get hot and maintain that consistent play all the way around. To give yourself the best chance you can to have a solid opportunity in October, especially if you're going to be facing a team who on paper is kind of stronger all the way around than you. And we know in baseball that doesn't necessarily matter. But playing hot going into October is about as important as it gets. Because if look at the Yankees, like they're the way they played and the way they're playing now. I don't know if that team scares really anybody right now.
Okay, so that's another great thing you bring up because, I understand it's just one game out of 162.
But you bring up the Yankees. I want to read off this lineup, too. This is the lineup they brought out on Labor Day. And, again, thanks to our audience for showing up. We're recording this mid-federal holiday.
There's people listening. They're gonna be involved.
Yeah, I just thank you guys for it's Tuesday morning. We know everybody had a long weekend. So just some of these quick hitters here. I got the Yankees lineup from today. Gleyber Torres leading off at second. Aaron Judge in center. Giancarlo Stanton DH. Donaldson cleanup, Jose Trevino in the 5 spot, Oswaldo Cabrera 6, Isaiah Kiner full alpha, then Tim LaCastro in left field, Marwin Gonzalez at first base. So not the Yankees that was on a huge run that was like 44-16 through their first 60. And it's just like, this is a group that they need some momentum from.
They need momentum from. I mean, the top of that lineup is nice and heavy. I mean, Gonzalez, towards the end, he can swing it. So, I mean, it's not what was producing early in the season for them, but they have big bats. They haven't been very consistent. I mean, I think that's the only issue, and it kind of brings me back to what Joey Gallo said about, when he was traded to the Dodgers, that, over there was the the Aaron Judge show, which kind of a weird comment to make, but wasn't far from the truth. But that doesn't mean that they don't have the ability to do things in many spots in that order. They just really haven't been able to do that consistently. And I think that just speaks volumes to how good Aaron Judge has been. To be able to carry that team this far.
I saw some statistic that like the second half Yankees are similar to like 1 Aaron Judge and 8 CC Sabathia's, like based on how CC Sabathia hit when he was a National League pitcher, which I don't.
Yeah.
But listen, bad butt opportunity to get hot.
That's kind of an interesting comparison.
99.9% to get to the playoffs. So.
They are, but it's a little scary when you get to that point in the postseason, or when you get to the postseason, and collectively, like, you're not playing the way you were early in the season. Like, you're not that same team, and that they know it. I mean, it's obvious. It's pretty glaring. That doesn't mean that they're not a really good team still. But they're not, playing anywhere close to the way they were, a month and a half, 2 months ago.
We brought up the Mariners. I got to bring this up.
What are they in their last 10, by the way?
I'll get that. Luis Castillo, since coming on the show, has not given up a run either. 6
9 and 1. 9 and 1 in the last 10. 7 in a row. I mean, there's just something. I don't know if I have anything to do with it. Maybe it's your smile and your charisma. That puts guys in a place of comfort, and they come on the show and they just kind of start rolling. I mean, Zach Gallen finally gave up a run, so congrats to him. I mean, 41 and a third.
Wait a second,
I think so.
Did he? No,
he didn't give up a run. No, come on, yeah, he did. I want to say.
No, he's still going.
No.
Yes.
Is he really?
6 consecutive scoreless.
All right. Well, somebody lied to me then. My mistake.
I think it was Colin said in a group text that it was over, but what he was doing was making a Bob Nightingale joke, which I don't expect you to get. I get the Bob Nightingale jokes instantly because all Bob Nightingale does is just say something and instantly it's over. Like,
okay,
if you see Bob Nightingale coming, just run the other way. And that's nothing against Bob Nightingale. Professional, been doing it for a long time.
Professional, yeah, he's got great teeth, show teeth, nice veneers. Yeah, I had a lot of personal time with Nightingale, kind of up in my grill, so I noticed those kind of things. So, Bob, nice teeth. Well done.
Bob was tweeting about Zach Gallen, and I saw a tweet today. I wanted to get you warmed up before I brought this up. And you know what, real quick, this point is brought to us by Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. Okay, I went to Lumineers on Saturday night. I got the tickets from Game Time. I was so close, I thought that they were going to ask me to play an instrument. I don't know how Game Time does this, but the way that they were able to get me, I was literally next to this. I thought I worked for the band. I was like one of the roadies. Amazing concert at Wrigley Field. Good reminder, guys. If you want to go see Zach Gallen, check him out. Use Game Time, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, and redeem code STARTING9 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time, last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. That counts as one ad read, even though I forgot to do the end of it. And that's why I was laughing, because that's on me. That's on me. That was a Game Time thing. Jake, I think you accidentally muted yourself. It's the post-Labor Day show, guys.
I did it again. Hey, you know what? Did you notice what I'm using for you today?
No.
You see that? I've got a koozie on my Blood and Honey, Texas beer, very, very good. Revolver Brewing Company. But I don't want to get any condensation on the desk, so I threw it on.
Wow.
That's so it does serve
guys,
a
landmark
purpose.
day here for starting nine.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Big deal in the group chat about whether or not koozies are acceptable.
And I can't lie to you, it feels good in the hand.
Wow. See, it was that simple sometimes.
So maybe I'm coming around.
Speaking of kids, there's a kid in the big leagues now that's making headlines. Have you heard of this Tristan Casas kid, the Boston Red Sox first baseman rookie, who takes his shirt off and lays in the outfield in suns before games because he's like, caffeine doesn't work for me. Yeah. I don't like taking energy drinks and stuff. What gets me really focused is grounding and putting my body on the ground. So he goes and lays in like sliders and just absorbs the earth's energy.
We'd get along very well. Grounding's a big deal. I'd go out there early and just walk barefoot with a cutoff. Yeah, and we'd get a group of guys out there. We'd throw the aerobie. Which, you know the aerobie, right? It's like a Frisbee, but it's a ring, hole in the center. I mean, you can throw it like, 200, 300 yards. Really, really fun. And I've lost probably a handful over the course of my career in different stadiums. Some thrown out of the stadium. 2 we lost in the Rogers Center that went underneath the stands and kind of slid, so we had no shot at getting those back. It's a good daytime activity. But yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. Getting the energy, getting your vitamin D, kind of waking up that way. And I kind of agree with him. Caffeine doesn't really do much for me. I drink coffee just because I like it. I'm the kind of guy that could drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee and have no problem falling asleep. So I get it, Tristan. And I'm a huge fan of, spend some time in the sun before the games. And does he have a good body? Because I know the cameras are on him. He's got a nice body.
Yeah, I mean he's a big first baseman. Like he's not. I don't know what your definition is. Like by my definition, yeah, he's got a phenomenal body. Like you're over there with fucking 1% body fat, judging people's obliques. So from my perspective,
God damn, you make me sound like an asshole.
Well, I mean I
don't judge people's obliques.
It's a statement for effect. You would never judge an oblique.
I would.
You would?
I would, but not in a bad way. Like I'm like, damn, okay, nice obliques. I would never say, hey, you fat piece of shit. Like, excuse me. No, he's a good-looking kid.
He is. All right. I think he's got a good baseball face, too, Tristan Casas. I think he's got, like, good cheekbones, which people might be giggling at or not taking me serious. That is a very, very real thing, like the jaw and the cheek and just, like, the eyes where you're like, ooh, this guy looks like a baseball player.
He looks like a baseball player.
No one more than, like, Bryce Harper's, like, the quintessential, like, oh, look at that baseball face. But even a guy like Gunnar Henderson, who just came up for the Orioles, is making plays. He's got a great baseball face. There's part of that. There's part of having a face. What about a bad face? Can you think of a guy? You accidentally muted yourself again. Could you think of a guy with a bad face?
Fuck, I fucking muted myself. I do that when I cough sometimes, and I woke up with this tickle in the back of the throat. You ever have it where it lingers and you just can't get rid of it? And it's just there. It's there. I woke Brittany up a couple times in the middle of the night. It's probably because I'm doing a little too much of the nicotine. I need to quit it. And look, I mean, who gives a shit about my problems, but need to stop. Had a little tickle, so I've been muting myself from time to time just so it's not heard on the show. But back to my point, I don't even know what it was. We're talking about Gunnar Henderson, correct?
Yeah, baseball faces.
And a bad baseball face. I mean, there are bad baseball faces out there, sure. I mean, I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus. They know who they are. They know who they are. We've all seen them. I mean, just watch a baseball game. There's 3 or 4 at least on each team.
Okay, let's get. You're right. I don't want you putting. You know what? You brought up a point on the show recently. I wanted to circle back on. It was about Oneil Cruz has the potential to be one of the great power hitters of all time. And yeah, he hit a home run the other day that was 116 miles per hour at a 16-degree launch angle, which equates to about like 15 feet off the ground to left center.
In Pittsburgh, I mean that's just an absolute laser. Because it's not a small part of the park by any means. I mean, the only small part of the park there is obviously right field. Left field is, I don't think anybody would really say left field in PNC is small. Right field's the only spot. So to hit a ball like that, and that was a ball that was slightly elevated, kind of middle away. And to square that up, I mean, most guys foul that off. They'll foul it straight back and be like, "Oh man, I was all over that shit. I just missed it." But no, you didn't just miss it. Like, yeah, you could have popped it up, but there's not many guys who can stay on top of that ball, keep it that low, and leave the yard like that. And I'm just saying, like, if this guy can just piece it together and look, how old is he? He's 23, 24 years old, something like that. Yeah,
23,
I think he's
23.
I think he has the chance to be really, really special. I know the Pirates feel that way. It's wild what he can do at his size. I mean, we've had this conversation before, but he keeps having these little flashes of like, wow, this is absolutely legit. And I'm actually trying to buy some more Oneil Cruz rookie cards, but these people aren't accepting offers, so I need to, I guess, raise my bid a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's just basic retail marketplace economics. You'll figure that out. You're a sharp guy.
Yeah, but there's this one card I'm trying to buy. The top right-hand corner, it's a little off. It's a little sketchy. There's scratches on it. So I'm telling the guy, I know this is what you want, but you need to reevaluate your card and be honest about it, because I'm not, I'll work with you. You got to work with me. We got to meet in the middle. I'm not paying $650 for this card. Okay.
Why not? No, because you're smart. Because you've done your homework, and
because it's going to grade. Yeah, it's going to grade at probably an 8 at the most, and that significantly affects the value of the card. But this one's ungraded. I would like to get it signed by Oneil Cruz and keep this in my personal collection. So since that's the case, I'm trying to get it as cheap as I can, because this isn't a card that I'm trying to flip. It's going to stay with me. I'm going to hang on to it and, kind of monitor his career and see how he does. But this is a card from him when he's with the Dodgers. And this is something that's kind of, I don't know if there's some sort of conspiracy behind this, but his name is spelled Oneal Cruz on this Dodgers card. And then in his more recent cards, it's Oneil. So is this like a mistake, or did he change the spelling of his name, or am I looking too much into this? If we can get a little research in, I mean, I kind of need to figure out what's going on. For a second, I thought it was 2 different players. I'm like, no chance. This is the same guy.
I think a mistake like that adds value. I think especially if it's like a rare, like, ooh, we just didn't know this kid, and now he turned out to be. Isn't there a story or something like that? The bat that says "fuck off" on the bottom, or like "fuck you," the Billy Ripken bat, and he's taking a picture, and on the bottom of it says like "fuck off."
And that wasn't that on one of his baseball cards?
Yeah, the Billy Ripken baseball card. Let me see. Yeah, what is it? This is a classic 1989 flare. It's a classic flare, and on the bottom of it says "fuckface."
Fuckface. Yeah. I like that. I had a card in the minor leagues. So one of our players with the Frederick Keys and I changed gloves, and it was picture day. I'm like, give me your glove. He's a left-handed pitcher. I give him mine. And we take our photos. I just spilled my beer all over me. We take our photos. I'm like going through my delivery left-handed. And I don't even know if they like gave a shit or if they just didn't know like that I was a right-handed pitcher. But if you look up some of my cards, like from 2008, you'll see that there's one of me throwing left-handed, which is kind of funny.
Are those? That's got to be, like I said. Now with an anomaly like that, then it's got to be worth more.
I mean, maybe $1 more, but nothing. I mean, I wouldn't go like invest in those cards because you're not really going to get that far. I don't really have any cards that are worth much money, so save your money on Arrieta cards. Maybe there's a couple out there that are signed that are pretty valuable, but nothing. Cards are different now. They're numbered. They're just better quality, and better players than me. So save your money on my cards.
Come on. Save your money on the cards, but you know what? If you guys want to really save some money too, also go to Live Pure, a health and wellness brand that believes in nutrition without the BS. We got to try their water enhancers for hydration, energy, and recovery. And I'm telling you guys, it's great tasting electrolyte-enhanced water. It helps you hydrate 2 to 3 times faster than drinking water alone. And from an energy standpoint, jitter-free energy. You know me, I'm a jittery guy, not when I use Live Pure stuff, because the pre-workout supplement containing 90 milligrams of caffeine and 20 essential nutrients and 0 added sugars is the perfect blend and mix for me. So is it when it comes to recovery. Ease muscle soreness. I walked 36 the other day. I mean, just really put it on my legs. And the recovery from Live Pure was unbelievable, packed with all 9 essential amino acids and non-GMO premium ingredients. These sticks all include amino acids in their formulas because electrolytes just aren't enough for rapid rehydration. I know that. Look at me. Peak physical condition. Amino acids are important for peak body performance that your body can't produce on its own. Jake, this is tough. You are a professional athlete. I feel like not like you are, because that would be like
still am.
Once you live, once you live that life, like that's who you are. You're a pro athlete.
But you have to maintain it. You can't just be like a slob and still consider yourself a professional athlete. And you kind of have to kind of earn that right. You got to check back in. You got to reapply for your certification, so to speak. And if you can honestly say that you're doing what it takes or what's necessary to kind of maintain that status, then I'm on board with that. So there's a lot of hard work that still goes into it, and maybe even more. I don't know if I'm going to pitch in the World Baseball Classic yet. I'm getting pressure by you and some other people that have heard the news. So I might have to get the nails back on and start a throwing program. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next. We'll see how I feel in the next 30, 40 days. And then I'll have my decision by let's say the first or second week of October.
And while we wait for that, I'm going to be checking out Live Pure. You guys can go to livepure.com and use starting code 9 for 25% off your first order. That's Live Pure, P-U-R, Live Pure, LIVPUR.com, livepure.com, and use promo code STARTING9, STARTING9 for 25% off your entire order. Man. See, now I want to toe this line because
just an update. And let me update you real quick. I just bought the Oneil Cruz card. The guy, as we're talking, he submitted me another offer for $190, which is a fair price. Because I told him, I said, look, this card's ungradable. I think it's damaged to the point where it might be a 7.5, which is low because it's a newer card. Everyone's looking for the Gym Mint 9.5 or 9 to 10. I'm keeping my personal collection. I'm going to get it signed. So he came off his price quite a bit, and we met at $190. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. I'm making.
So it's coming in.
It's coming in. Yeah, it's coming in. And then I'm gonna do my best to reach out to Oneil and have him sign it for me and Cooper, and then just put it downstairs in the bar.
That dude hits missiles, by the way. All this started by saying, if you haven't seen the missile, go look at the missile. You'll understand why we have such passion for this 23-year-old on a underperforming team.
And how much baseball have we watched? We've seen some prolific home run hitters. I mean, you watch Judge and you watch the way Stanton hits the ball. And people would think, oh, no one hits the ball harder than Stanton. Oneil Cruz does. And he does it fairly consistently, even when he gets out or when he hits singles. Like, it's different the way the ball comes off his bat. And man, let's get him surrounded with some better players.
Yeah. I do like, and I've said this before, I've put this flag in the ground for some managers. I do like Derek Shelton a lot, and I do like the culture that the Pirates have. And that was backed up at the All-Star break, running into one of the Pirates and just like talking behind the scenes a little bit off-record stuff about just like the culture in the clubhouse. It's for real, man. And the Diamondbacks obviously have a little bit of that. Now, manager switches, and we've never talked about this before. How did the Cardinals get to a point where they fired Mike Schilt and brought in Marmol? Like, obviously the Cardinals are awesome. They're doing great things, and there's some other stuff, but this is just a little, while I'm talking about Derek Shelton and energy and culture, it's just on the top of my head. Like, if you're in a clubhouse and you're playing well for a guy, like, it is possible to be playing for a first-place playoff team, and then the guy's being like, fuck this manager.
You don't see that happen very often, though. If you're in first place and things are clicking and everything seems to be rolling well, and obviously we don't necessarily see the things that go on behind the scenes. Maybe there's been some stuff that came out publicly about Schilt. I don't know. From my viewpoint, he seemed to me like a legit baseball guy that the guys enjoyed playing for and respected. But again, like that just tells you there's things that happen behind the scenes that we might not see, because I didn't expect that.
No,
I don't think really anybody did.
Now they're completely. I mean, obviously they're going to be completely different guys. Schilt, 18 years in the Cardinals organization. It's just like a guy that had been around these guys for a long time, but from like, we need to take the next step and get the right guy at the right philosophy on our team, give the Cardinals credit, because Oliver Marmol's 35, 36 years old, and he's very likely going to win a division in his first full season as a manager. And I feel like that is very important and understatedly important across Major League Baseball. A homegrown manager that can come in and win right away and win over a clubhouse that's filled with – there's Hall of Famers all over that clubhouse.
Yep. And how much better does a manager look? And this is no disrespect to Dave Roberts in L.A. or what we did in Chicago under Joe Madden or some of these other great managers with these great teams. But the players can make a manager, and I don't want to say look better than he is, but the players can make a manager look really good. And rightfully so. But, as a manager, you still have to pull the right strings. Sometimes certain managers might try and pull too many strings for whatever reason, maybe to just have a little bit more involvement in the say of the game sometimes. That may be right, that may be wrong. But the better your roster, the better you're going to be, period. That's just it goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? So, and that's not to say that, he's not doing a great job in managing the Cardinals, but damn, you got a pretty amazing group of guys to manage. And it almost seems like if you just don't screw it up or try and intervene in spots where you shouldn't, then you should be just fine. Shit, I could. I'm not saying I'd be a great manager, but I could manage the Cardinals.
I think that's a completely fair statement. Now, the Cardinals have done, it seems like every time there's an injury or they need a boost, they just bring somebody up. Now, in the last, since July.
But those guys they bring up are always good.
Yes, that's the beauty of this organization, that they just fill it in as they go. It's not, the trade deadline is like, where can we add really impactful pieces, not like how do we salvage the season. And here's a stat for you. Since the All-Star break, 4 of the 5 highest weighted runs created plus in the National League belong to St. Louis Cardinals. I think it's 1 Pujols, 2 Goldschmidt, 3 Arenado, and then 5 is Lars Nootbaar. So,
is it crazy that Pujols is in there?
It's crazy. It's bookend by a 43-year-old and a 20-something-year-old that are both homegrown St. Louis Cardinals. But yes, to your point, it's crazy. Pujols is the first guy in there, like,
and some of that
weighted run created plus.
It has to help that he's back in St. Louis. He's playing with Wainwright and he's playing with Yachty, and he's comfortable. I mean, he might have. I don't know if he sold the house that he had in St. Louis or he just moved back in. Like maybe he was always going to keep it. I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out. Like. There's something about the comfort that's created when you're in a situation that you're that he's in. He's been there before. Obviously, he loves St. Louis, and he's back with some of his boys. So I mean, that's got to help. It's got to do wonders for him. And I wonder if he wishes that he would have never left. You know, like just imagine if he like the type of numbers, all-time St. Louis Cardinals numbers he would have if he never left St. Louis. I would have, you know, good for him, and I know that he enjoyed his time in Anaheim, but man, it would have been really cool and pretty special to see him play in that uniform for his entire career.
Now, I could get slapped for this, but my understanding when I think of the St. Louis Cardinals is, you know, when Albert Pujols left for the Angels, it wasn't until they got Paul Goldschmidt that they really had like an everyday first baseman in my mind. Now, Carpenter slid over, played a little bit of first base. Matt Adams came up and played first. They used some first-round draft picks on corner infielders. Patrick Wisdom being one of them. They have a history of trying to, you know, get the next guy in there. To your point, that whole gap could have been filled by Albert Pujols.
Yeah. I mean, now I don't know this for sure, and obviously he had been a DH for quite a while. I don't know how efficient he is as a first baseman overall. I don't want to say he's a bad first baseman. I mean, I don't think he's.
In the early part of his career, he was one of the best first basemen.
He was one of the okay. Well, in that case, yeah, he probably could have played first base for quite a while. But that also tells you how difficult it is to find a guy like that, to find a Rizzo, a Goldschmidt, a Pujols, a guy that can play first base for 6, 7, 10 plus years and do it at a high level with the power output and the defensive metrics. They're hard to find. That's why most teams rotate through guys like that so frequently.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. It's like Matt Adams, Alan Craig, Mark Reynolds at 31 years old. Again, no disrespect to these guys. Very long, productive careers. We're just talking about, like, you know, you bring this up because it's, you know, could Albert Pujols have stuck there? What would that legacy have looked like? I mean, honestly, it's crazy to even think about it, really. I mean, if he's playing that entire year, then I think it really – if he plays that entire time, 20-something years in St. Louis hey, 695 against the Cubs. I'm remiss not to bring this up. He did. It was a pinch hit, game-winning home run. His career against the Cubs in 199 games, 292 batting average, 59 home runs, 149 RBIs, 99 extra base hits, 111 walks, and 78 Ks. I've watched him play a lot against the Cubs. Tremendous respect for Albert Pujols. So I just want to call it out. That was probably his last plate appearance against the Cubs. Go figure. It's a game-winning bomb into the night. I just can't be mad about it. Like, if I would be, you know, I would probably have something else to say if the Cubs were chasing a wild card spot right now. But good for Albert Pujols. And I think we do have to put that merch on sale now. We teased it in the last episode. It's not in the store yet. So
it should get in there. And I mean, as he gets closer to 700, and he's got five to go. Correct. He's at 695. A part of me is like, okay, we got to see Albert get to 700. If he doesn't get it this season, does he come back? I mean, who knows how his body feels, but he's still doing it. He's still able to do it. And he can DH. He doesn't have to go play in the field. And as long as he can physically go out there and be somewhat healthy, God, it's just so good for the game to continue to have him in a uniform. And watching him in the home run derby, I mean, we were all there together. Like, how cool was that? And to see the young players, or all the players on both teams, embrace him after that, and just the level of respect. So anytime you can extend or have legends and Hall of Famers like Pujols play for longer and longer and longer, it's just so good for the game of baseball. And I love to see it because I know how hard it is to play that long. And how hard it is to play 12 years, let alone 22 years. And he's in the lineup just about every single day for 22 years.
He's in the lineup today again. So
he's gonna need. I'm sure he's got it, but if he doesn't have a really good masseuse, I've got a couple guys that I'll just send to him. And I'll pay for your first month for free, like it's on me, just as a thank you to what you've done for the game and just how much fun I've had watching him play.
That scene you described at the All-Star game at the Home Run Derby reminds me of there's like this famous concert at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then it's like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and Paul McCartney and just like every heavy-hitting guitarist is playing. And it's like While My Guitar Gently Weeps or something. And then Prince comes on, like 2 minutes left in the song, and just starts shredding, and like everybody just stops and is just standing staring at Prince while he puts down the most unbelievable guitar solo like you'll ever see. And it's like the best guitarists in the world at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and their mouths are like on the floor. Obviously, different type of comparison, but just the level of respect, like those players.
That's a great comparison, and I don't even know if a lot of people would consider Prince as like one of the best guitar players of all time. But the best of the best, especially in that industry, they know like what he's capable of. But you know what I mean? Like if you just ask people, give me your top 5 or even top 10 guitar players of all time, I don't know if any of them have Prince in that. And that's not saying that he's not qualified to be one of them. I just think it's kind of an unknown. Like I didn't necessarily know or respect Prince as a great guitarist. I respected him as a performer and a lover of blouses. Just a beautiful man too. And I don't know who it was, but there was an NBA player, or maybe it was an NFL player who Prince rented their house in LA. You could look this up. I want to say it was an NBA guy, and he rented it for it was some absurd amount of money. And I don't think the guy wanted any of his stuff in the house messed with. Prince basically took all of the dude's furniture out of the house and completely redecorated it, painted it, like made it his own house. And he told the guy, like, look, don't worry. Like he wired him like $500,000, just like as like a hey, trust me, it'll get fixed. And it was like purple and like there, as you would assume, like velvet, like drapes and weird shit. So when he moved out, he said like in a week the house was like back to exactly. You wouldn't even know Prince was there. But just hey, he's like, you know what? No big deal. I'll wire you $500,000 just as like a hey, trust me, everything will be fine.
Hey baby, it's all cool. He was so cool. Yeah, he was a cool dude. Speaking of which, a lot of us out there, I don't even know if this is a good transition or not, but I'm just going to say now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Talk about how important mental health is in the sports world. That's me just reading the ad read. Mental health is so important in the sports world. Dylan Cease coming out of that no-hitter. You think he's just going to go? No, he's got to double down now and re-strengthen on the mental health side. From focus, knowing what your tasks are, responsibilities are, health issues every day. Did you ever get in the zone?
Yeah. I mean, for months at a time, here and there, and even though you're in the zone, there are times where you still lose games because the guys you're playing against are really good too. And even when you're in the zone, you make mistakes. Sometimes they miss those mistakes. Sometimes they don't. Calls go your way. Sometimes they don't. So there's so many different variables that kind of lead to, you being in the zone or not. It's more about the way you feel physically, mentally, and how you're able to just kind of continue to repeat your routine. Every time you go out there, in between starts, every bullpen session, it's just okay. Like I know I got everything I needed to get out of this session. I can move on in a positive way, watch my video, do my strength and conditioning, and then be ready for the next start. So, yes, the zone comes and goes, and man, when you're out of the zone, it's a pretty helpless feeling, and that doesn't mean that you can't win when you're not in the zone, but you're almost looking for. You're looking for things like guys to make mistakes and to miss mistakes. It's a weird thing, and how quickly it can transition from being in the zone one week to not even understanding like how to throw strikes the next week. It's a weird game. It's a weird game.
And the importance of just staying on top of yourself, not letting peaks and valleys come, and if you're thinking of giving therapy a try out there, BetterHelp's a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable. It's entirely online. You can get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey and switch therapists at any time. When you're ready to feel at the top of your mental health game, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/starting today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/starting for 10% off your first month. Give it a try, guys. I have two more things on the show here. This is turned out to be a fantastic post-Labor Day show. Love the energy and the vibes here.
For sure.
Well, this is probably producer Colin's probably sitting there banging his head right now. He's like, the fucking Mets. Probably the biggest story that we have completely glossed over at the end of this episode is the race in the NL East, and the Mets dropped 2 of 3 from the Nats. I want to point this out though because this is an amazing, amazing statistic. This is the first time all season the Mets have lost a series that you could look at and say this is a series they should have won. Like that. The first series they've lost.
The first time though, that's
all
that's
year
a big
that
deal.
they've lost like 2 out of 3 to a team that they should have beat.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, it's happened once, and we're at the end of the first week of September, and they didn't lose a series until when? Colin could probably chime in. Didn't they go like the first month or two without even losing a series? So for them to lose a series like that, where a team you should have beat. For it to happen now, I mean, maybe it doesn't look great because we're getting so close to October. But I mean, you're bound to face a team, that might not be very good, that just has your number for that series.
But now I'm starting to get out on the Braves zone. Here's why: because I've been enjoying the Braves' success. I like the way the Braves operate. It's like, you could go from the Matt Olson trade into the extension. You could go to like the Michael Harris extension. You could go to so many of these moving parts of the Braves as a baseball fan. You look at it and you're like, man, that's just exactly how you should be running a team. They're smart. They're forward thinking. Here's where the Braves are losing me. The Mets lose to the Nationals. They start playing the Timmy Trumpet song during a rain delay in Atlanta. And there's just certain things to me where it's like, I get that you want to be Bush League and you want to be funny and there's some kind of like rivalry here, but I mean, you cannot disrespect Edwin Diaz's season that he's having in the Trumpets like that. I get it, but they're not even playing each other.
Who played it?
So the Mets and the Nats are playing each other. The Nats beat the Mets, and at Truist Park at Atlanta during a rain delay, they were like showing the highlights or whatever of the fact that the Mets had just lost, and then they start blaring over the speakers.
Okay, so the Mets lost, but did Edwin Diaz blow a save?
No.
Okay, so
Atlanta's just playing the music.
That's a little petty. That's a little petty, and I bet that the players were like, obviously the players had nothing to do with that. That's the fucking PA's call, or somebody's like, hey, this would be a good idea to play this. Like, no, you look like idiots.
Yeah, I thought that was Bush League. I just wanted to say that because that's the stuff I don't want to be talking about. That I want to be talking about the fact that they play each other at the end of September, and that 3-game series is very likely going to determine the NL East
division.
Champion.
Yeah.
Now the Mets have a very easy schedule to close.
Yeah, it's amazing for it to come down to that.
Yeah.
And as we've seen in the past, where a team getting into the postseason or winning the division comes down to the last 3 games. Like that's what makes the 162 just so amazing. That you play that many games, and it can all fall on the last 2, 3, 4 games of the season.
Good luck to both teams down the stretch. And credit to the Dodgers. They would be up 6 or 7 games in this division, which is just insane to think about.
That's how good they are. They're just amazing. I should watch one more game or so, but Padres, where are they at?
Padres are in trouble.
Half game up. With a wild card, okay, they are in trouble. Yeah, it's getting down to the wire. They need to start playing good baseball. But if you haven't until this point, and you got Soto, and obviously we know you're without Tatis, like, are they gonna just magically pick it up, like right now? I mean, this is a large enough sample size to understand what type of team you're gonna get pretty much night in, night out. And that's not to say that they can't put it in another gear, but if you haven't yet, do you really expect them to now?
No, I don't. I expect them to go into the playoffs exactly how they'll make the play. I think if you see the Orioles catch the Blue Jays or if you see the Brewers catch the Phillies at this point, that should be. I'm not ruling the Orioles out. I think they've won 5 of their last 5 series, or they haven't lost a series in like a month and a half or something. But you're getting to the point where like, all right, you're 2.5 games back. You need the teams in front of you to lose a bunch, and you need to be winning in bunches, and it just gets tough,
That's really the only way. Like. You win 6 in a row and somebody loses 4 or 5 in a row and you're right there. But yeah, you're going to have some help with this little of time left in the season. You're going to have some help from the teams in front of you because you can't just expect the Orioles to win 10 in a row because it's probably, it's not impossible. It's probably not going to happen. So you're going to need. You're going to have to, go 7 out of 10, and you're going to have one or two of those teams lose, several games to give you a shot. Because, 2.5 games with, 24 left?
Yep.
Something like that. Like, you need some help. That's okay. That's okay. But, and the momentum can completely shift if they get a little bit of that help, they win a couple, another team loses a couple, then it's like, shit, we're 1 game out. All right, like we're right there. We are right there.
Last thing, I have some Twins fans have been DMing me saying, hey, you guys don't talk about the Twins. What's up with the Twins? Why don't you guys ever talk about the Twins? I've given some passionate feedback. I'm going to double down now, and next Thursday when we come back, we're going to have somebody from the Twins with us. We'll talk about the Twins. They almost got hit by the White Sox. So there's me talking about the Twins, and when we show up on Thursday, we're going to
they got a hit. Yeah, congrats to the Twins. You guys got a hit. Got a hit. Well, so we talked about them. But yeah, we're gonna have a Twin on the show next week, right?
Yep. Yes. Yeah, no, Thursday. Because it does feel like we aren't in the week yet, but the week has started.
Okay.
Dinner plans tonight. You making anything on the Green Egg?
I don't think so. I think we're gonna probably get out on the boat and just throw the anchor out, put some music on, and just kind of kick in the sun for about 2-3 hours, and then come home for an early dinner and get the kids ready for bed and ready for a nice week of school and football practice. Palmer starts soccer this week, so that's about it. Yeah, it's gonna be a slow night. We hit it pretty hard the last couple of days, so we're gonna. As I'm drinking a few beers, but it's gonna be a light night.
Amen.
What about you?
I just got a box of steaks. Omaha just sent me a huge box of steaks. I wasn't gonna make anything, and then I came into the office and I see a huge box of steaks. So
well, it kind of puts you in a position where you have to make a couple then.
So sounds like I will be making steaks, watching baseball, and getting ready for the interview we have lined up for you guys on Thursday should be outstanding and in line, and a lot of excitement too. Because as you know, you come on our show, you do. The ERA of guys that have come on our show is like .26 right now. So
it's undeniable now. At this point, it's just like if you're starting pitcher or, really any pitcher, if we reach out to you and we'd like to have you on the show, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. We're going to do good things for you. You're going to do good things for us. It's going to be a nice relationship moving forward.
Amen. Well, good seeing you, buddy, today. Happy Labor Day. Best to the family, and I look forward to huddling up again this week for another great episode.
Absolutely. Happy Labor Day. Thanks for everybody listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show if you enjoy it. And we will be back Thursday with a great interview for you guys.
Until next time.